All right, guys, what is going on? You are listening to Not Even Love by Seven Lions right here on Fibonacci Radio. Know what I'm saying? 61.8, the spiral. So welcome everybody. Okay, there we go. Also, that is part of my list. That is part of my 2025 recap. All my most listened to songs. So that made it in there somewhere. I think in the bottom half, but I played that a lot earlier this year. So who's on today? Who's on today, chat? We got 11. Let's go. See, this is why I'm going to start dropping a lot of sauce on Fridays and making it member only. So a lot of people are going to start missing out. Know what I'm saying? A lot of your mix was stuff I'd never even heard. Oh, I know. I take pride in that. I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of variety. And a lot of it I don't save. But a good amount, I'll like it. And then YouTube makes a playlist of the music that you like. And then I'll put those on repeat. But yeah, I like exploring new music. And usually when you find a good artist, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they usually make good songs and not just like a one-hit wonder. There's a few one-hit wonders that are just like, okay, I like one song and everything else sucks. But usually rock bands or techno electronic artists are either really, really good and most of their stuff is good, or they just suck and that's it. So anyway, what's good? Capitalist, Patch, Julius, Pip Trades, Jorks, Mason. I'm lost in the sauce. 2020, Eberneth, Scott, Eminem. But yeah, like my mix, some of those songs will absolutely rip your face off. Those are some of my favorites. Like Synestia. Oh man, Synestia will put a hole in your chest. Blake Mullins, that is the guy from Disembodied Tyrant, I believe. They will rip your face off too. It's so good. And Shadow of Intent. All three of those bands are nasty. So, but I don't play them on the YouTube because we already have, like, we're already like losing members and losing average viewers. So it would be even probably worse if I played my kind of music. So anyway, that's real seasonality for you. So these last few days, says Patch, I've really been noticing what you mean about entries after the XX30 candle close. Like, yeah, so that would be a new like 30-minute candle and a new 15-minute candle. It's like halfway through the hour. But if that hour is going to see expansion, then those retracements are usually pretty good. It was good, Sergio. So honestly, I don't have high expectations for today. I haven't had high expectations all week. Okay. I mean, if you notice in the Discord, I haven't really said too much in advance. Every other week this year, you know, I've been calling stuff out for you. This week, I haven't really done a lot of that. And I don't feel bad about it. I never promised I would do that for you, but one thing remains the same though, right? What have we been focusing on the last 2 weeks? A lot of things, but one of them has been aligning the time frames, right? What has the higher time frame bias been? What has it been this whole time? This week and some of most of last week. Bullish, chat. Bullish higher time frames, dog. Biggity bullish, chat. Come on. What have we been talking about? Bang. The high of November 4th, right? Those little highs in there. That gap on the daily. Bang. Look at that today. Right to 50%. A little bit over that. Come on. How hard is that? How hard is that? The market strayed from liquidity to, well, liquidity would be up here, but liquidity to imbalance is one of them, right? Or liquidity above those highs. Bang. Look at that. How hard is that? We have also talked about, well, this is really actually more seen on like the future side. Expansion, right? Expansion and contraction. We have large ranges, we have small ranges, and we go from one to the other. We go from large ranges to small ranges. So at a certain point, and I guess it may not be today, we're gonna have to look at the close, okay? But even on a 5-minute time frame, you're gonna see the same thing. You're gonna see expansion, you're gonna see large candles, and you're gonna see small candles. You're gonna see large candles, and you're gonna see small candles, and you're gonna see large candles, and small. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So even though in a general sense, this week hasn't been like, we haven't seen major expansion, right? Look at the range from last week. We can measure it. We can measure it. Okay. That was a total range of 1,100, just over 1,100 points, right? Compare that to this week. This week, and again, I mean, Friday we could make a new high of the week and high of the day today. I mean, I don't know. My expectations are low, though. I'm not gonna say that I'm confident either way. Okay, if that's correct, we have 675. So almost half, roughly. Right. So the range has been a lot smaller this week versus last week. Okay. Large candles last week, small candles this week. And yeah, Mason, that's what I'm saying. Like, even though we got that gap here, remember that from earlier this week? And then we started seeing expansion, but it's really been more of a drift than an expansion. It is still going higher, right? Friday's high of the week, obviously. Just not as pronounced, not as fast, not as quick and dirty, but nonetheless, still higher. Long-term stocks account, look at that. Anybody who's been buying stock at almost any point this year is up. At any point this year, except if you like went balls deep at all-time highs. Okay, so unless you went all in at all-time highs, at any point, if you bought SPY or the triple Qs, okay, unless you went all in at all-time highs, you're up. And then remember that gap I told you about recently too, from October 29th and 30th? Remember that? We've been stalking that for a minute. That's been left open for a minute. Look at that today. Look what we've done. Look what we've done. Opened, traded a little bit lower. No problem. If we're going to go higher, we usually go lower first. And then yeet, right up there. Even beyond it. Higher time frame targets met. You know? Oh, this week is that and all the third and whatever. So the week can be whatever you want it to be. We can always put our own value judgments on price action, but at the end of the day, it's about what you believe is an opportunity and what you trade. Maybe you like low risk buys. Maybe you like mitigations. Maybe you like second leg of accumulation and distribution. You know, maybe you like turtle soup. Maybe you like all of it. Maybe you buy turtle soup and then you add on it low risk buy and you add on it first leg and you add on it second leg and then you cash the fuck out. You know, Maybe, I don't know. But my point is, there's a lot that you can do with this, right? And it's up to you to decide what bad price action is and what good price action is, okay? Because if you go on Twitter, they always say, oh, price action sucks. Don't trade today. You're stupid if you trade today, all this stuff. But opportunities still exist. And it's not just opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere. High probability opportunities still exist. So maybe one day we'll all be on the same page. But until then, we have to think independently here. Okay? So what, if there's any expectations that I do have, I don't know, they seem a little bit weak here. We traded into our opening range gap in the beginning of the day, no problem, and then we did it again at 10:30, and then ES did it again at 11:35. So we have kind of stabbed into this a few times already, right? I can't justify shorts. I don't see us making a new low of day. Can we do that? Sure, we can do that. This is really more so starting to look like a mitigation to go higher. We have some fairly clean highs here. Oh, Lorna Shore came on. I could play them too. You guys probably wouldn't like that. And then buy side up here. So could we get to 69.05? I mean, it's possible. If we're staying in the same conditions, meaning like we're still going to see small ranges and stuff like we saw all week, then the conditions would call for going back into the range, right? Like trade higher, go back into the range, take a low, go back into the range. So to get all the way back up here, I think it's possible, but I would still keep my expectations low. Like if you're long under here or just after this, I like where we are here as far as like this potential mitigation and this imbalance right here. That's fine. I just wouldn't want us to go back to like maybe 76, 75, like basically this gap, right? Like if anybody's in on something like that, you know, I would lock in like 2 or 3 points and then maybe just relax. But these highs internally, that would be a partial 100%, in my opinion. Do we get up here and a new high of day and high of week? It is possible. But again, I want to be clear. I have low expectations. I have low expectations. Okay. Kind of like when you go to the DMV, all right, you have low expectations, all right. Any government agency, all right, you have low expectations, you know what I mean? So then you're not disappointed when things don't go well. So let me read this real quick. Mason said, this week has been difficult for me to clearly frame one side on the 1 hour. Let's move this around a little bit, because it was just a slow grind higher and lots of close higher lows, I think. Yeah, close higher lows. There's a week to build patience. No, I agree. I mean, it is the first week of the month too, so that's a timing phenomenon. Journal a lot what we can. Oh, excuse me. Journaled a lot that we can just expect smaller ranges up to large ranges. It was a difficult week for me. Not every week's going to be easy. Not every week's going to be like a super clean banger home run, you know, flip a $20 account to 12 grand or some shit. Like that's not every day or every week. So yeah, every week ain't going to be easy. There will be easy weeks. There will be difficult weeks. What makes things a lot easier is like position trading indices, swing trading indices, or let's say swing trading or position trading stocks. That's one of the easiest. It's a little bit harder to get into because it takes a long time to set up, right? But once you're in, like at the low of the year or near the low of the year, then it's just smooth sailing after that. You don't have to worry about re-entries or waking up trying to find trades on a 5-minute time frame or something. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Does that make sense? And that was one thing I found out a long time ago, because I remember this. I sat down one day and I was like, when I really understood fractalization, right? What happens on higher time frames happens on smaller time frames. When I really took that in, I was like, why don't I just trade all of it then? Why don't I just hold, you know, trades on the daily and weekly? And then why don't I just like day trade in between? You know? So that's kind of like where that idea came from. Yeah, that I would not want to see us trade to the low end of. And if we do, I mean, again, expectations are low. We'll see. Okay. That mitigation is here, but again, it's not the cleanest. We don't even have like a high up close like up here, right? Like we had these up candles and then this wick to go lower. So we'll see if this does end up being manipulation and then if this is just a retracement to go higher. But again, like I said, bullish markets don't do shit like that. So we'll see. Just take a brief look at NQ as well. Yeah, I don't know. This just, again, doesn't look all that great for longs. We have, I don't know if I talked about that earlier, ES trading lower here, right? And NQ not doing that. So we do trade higher. We can't even get near this high here, and it's already like just back in the range. Just gross. Not a like sustained move to, let's say, to go up here or even this higher time frame. It's like a daily imbalance up here, I believe. Yep, right there. So we don't reach that. You see what I'm saying? Like up here, which seems reasonable, but we only take the high of November 12th, and we don't get into this. We stop short right here. Makes sense? So it could be an engineered high right here with these highs. Part of me looks at this sort of like a buy model, right? Because you have original consolidation, distribution, redistribution, right? Manipulation, and then accumulation to go higher. So that's what it's looking like. Make sense? But yeah, Mason, I look at the 1 hour. Like you said, not great. Not the greatest. A lot of, where's Monday at? Sunday, like Monday, right? So a lot of lower lows in here, a lot of fast retracements, deep retracements. Like, it hasn't been the easiest, for sure. if we come back to that rule, or that rule of thumb, it's not a rule, but if we come back to that one saying, right? You only need 1 to 2 good trades a week. That's it. How do you manage that? I think if you're trading, like, let's say every day, right, in a week like this where there's deep retracements, it's sort of just drifting in a direction on the higher time frame, this is the exact environment that you want to partial at new highs or partial at new lows if you're short, because at least you're growing that account. And it may not be like the biggest, you know, because it's definitely not the biggest way to grow an account, right? If you're not like holding the winners, if you're, you know, taking pieces out, if you're taking crumbs out instead of like a whole loaf, right? But at the same time, this is the same type of environment that people who do that all or nothing type of trading, oh, I'm going to be all in here, I'm going to get all out there. If you don't get that, you know, you're going to see account like open profit, right? Unrealized gains. And then it comes all the way back at you. And that's going to really damage your psychology too. Because you're going to be like, fuck, dude. I was up 1, 2, 3, 4%, whatever it is. And I didn't take anything out. And now I'm break even. And this is bullshit. You know, I'm unsubscribing from all these YouTube. Right? It's like, bro, why don't you partial? Why would you not? Or at a minimum, go break even. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to me. Now, if you want to re-enter, then that's fine too. See, market knows that fucking stream. Because it was like, oh, you don't want to see the low end of that imbalance? Okay. All right, John, watch this shit. Boom. Ain't that something? Ain't that something, chat? What kind of shit is that? So, let me see. Okay, so now there's like 40 something of you on here. Let me give you guys some quick announcements. Number one, I kind of went over this already, but I'll do it again. Number one, the higher time frame targets that we've been stalking have been met. Not all of them, because we're still aiming for all-time highs. But I know we talked about this gap for a while. It happened in November, happened a month ago, right? Finally got into that. Beautiful. On January 2nd, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 weeks from now, that is the first Friday of 2026. So January 2nd, that begins the member only streams for Friday. So I'll still do live streams on YouTube on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Friday will be for members only. And obviously you guys will get lesson plans that the public will not get. Number 3, if you have not started goal setting for 2026, listing out some things that you want, and how to get them, like steps, like do this, do that, whatever. If you don't have your roadmap, you need to start that this weekend. You need to get a jump ahead and start now. Okay. And then also this weekend, if you haven't done this, you should reflect on the 2025 year. How did I perform? What can I do better? You know, what did I do right? What should I do more of? Stuff like that. And then the last thing, I did update the helpful videos playlist. So the helpful videos playlist is a playlist that I made, and it's specifically other YouTubers. Okay? It is specifically other YouTubers. So it's videos that are not mine. Because I've always been this way. I've always said, oh, Diamonds to Dust dropped a new song. Sorry. The playlist. I've always been an advocate for having more than one mentor. Always. I've never said just have one mentor. That's stupid. Okay. So again, if you go to the playlist page, there is a helpful videos playlist that was updated today. There is 19 videos. Robin Walden, Michael Sugru, rest in peace, Daily Stoic, Jared Henderson, Park Notes, Chase Hughes, there's one video from him, Dante Borghese, I think that's how you say that, Rob Pyrie, Rachel in Theory, and she's like the last two videos. Okay, so there's some good stuff in there, and you guys are encouraged to go view that stuff. So speaking of other videos and other type of content, I have something planned for you guys already. Watch that buy side. I'm about to smack that like Akon. Look at that. What do you guys think? Do you want me to make a video on how to read? Let me do a poll, because I need to know the answer. Oh, look at that. Fucking random. And we're not even at a macro yet. Let me ask you this. Do you want a video on how to read well? Not just read. Because obviously everybody knows how to read. You can read the chat. You can read text messages. You can read a menu at the restaurant. Like, everybody can read. But what I'm saying is, like, reading well. Reading a book. Getting the most out of it. You know, taking notes, engaging with the content, how to better remember stuff that you read, putting a commonplace book together, some ideas for short and easy books, ideas for like medium, like average books, and then some ideas for the advanced readers. Does that sound like something you guys want? Oh, NQ tripping. NQ being super slow. It doesn't want to make a new high. See those highs here that got met right now? NQ is like, nah, fam. That's crazy. The one that manipulates is the one that ends up making a new high, and the one that was supposed to accumulate hasn't done that yet. See, chat? Didn't I tell you low expectations today? Low expectations. T-Trades Phases of Price deserves a 2025 shout out. You know what? I should put that in the helpful videos. I should do that. I totally forgot, honestly. And you know why? I think it was because none of this stuff is trading related. That's why I think I did. Or like, that's why I didn't put, I guess, trading content. It's like outside of trading content, but you might be right. Like reading, there's a lecture on Marcus Aurelius, which I think is great. It's really old, but it's awesome. Why We Can't Focus, notebooks, self-discipline, how to read better, Stoic lessons, how to journal. Every psyop will become obvious. I don't know why I put that in there, but there was a reason. It was 10 months ago, I guess. Mental models, how to read again, another how to read book. And the last one is 7 Habits of Highly Effective Thinkers. So I've watched a lot of content, obviously, and those are some of the best ones that I have found. You know, without getting into like people's paid stuff, because I don't know, I don't have it. You know what I mean? So maybe like, okay, so Jared Henderson, for example, he has a paid thing on Substack, which is, I think is cool, but I'm going to keep it crispy with you. He writes a lot. Okay. He writes a lot. Just like Ryan Holiday. Speaking of Ryan, I want to tell you guys a few things too. he writes a lot, bro. And I told myself, okay, John, if you're gonna subscribe to like the writer's paid stuff, you're gonna have too much, bro. Like all these books, your TBR, the to be read list, like your TBR is probably larger than most people's libraries. Okay. It's like, do you really want to face that much information? So I don't subscribe beyond the free stuff for a lot of the writers, because that's why. Otherwise, I'll have too much shit to read. I'll never get anything done. But speaking of content, I said this in the Discord. I think it was yesterday. Ryan Holiday put out a wonderful email, dude. Wonderful email. And so much so that I printed it off. I printed my own copy. And if you're not subscribed to the Daily Stoic, first of all, what are you even doing? It's great. So he put out an email, on the 4th. This was yesterday. Ryan Holiday's rules for reading in 2026. Do you guys, I'm not going to share everything with you, but do you guys want to hear some of the ideas that I think are pretty cool? Do you guys want to hear some of that stuff? We got 20 votes, 95-5. Look at that. So what's the math on that? 19 said yes, 1 said no. Oh, damn, we got another no. Yep, blocked. Blocked and banned permanently. So 21 votes, 90% said yes, 10% said no. What are your thoughts on the AI apocalypse, John? You've been reading about AI a lot lately, and I posted a video about in the chat about how things could potentially go south with AI the other day. Cameron, do me a favor and send me that on Instagram so it doesn't get lost in the sauce. I'll have it somewhere. Send that to me on Instagram. I'll take a look at it. I think people catastrophize everything. Not to like dog my own people here, but every like 20, 30 years, it's the Christians that come out, oh, this is the mark of the beast, right? Not knowing that the mark of the beast is going to be obvious. So unless it's really obvious, it's not. You know what I mean? Again, and I mean no disrespect, but it's like every couple hundred years, the end times are here. You've been saying the end times are here for 2,000 years, bro. What's going on? You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It's just, look, we got to have a little bit of discernment here, okay? Outside of that, even like everybody else, okay? We have, 2000, or like 2000, right? 1999 into 2000. Oh, the world's going to end, right? So, what a lot of us do is we do this especially when we're going through something, when we're going through hardships, is we catastrophize. You know what I mean? So like one little thing happens and then we automatically assume like the worst. Well, I got into a car accident. What if they think it's my fault? What if I hurt somebody? What if my insurance goes up? What are my friends going to think of me? Oh, I'll never be able to drive again. Well, if I can't drive, I'm going to lose my job. If I lose my job, I'm not going to have any money. Then I'm going to lose my house and I'm going to be homeless and then I'm just going to be fucking dead. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, you got in a little fender bender. That doesn't mean you're going to die. Right? But yet we put these strings together. We put these sort of like ridiculous things together because we're catastrophizing, right? When people hear about AI, I think they do the same thing. Well, you remember that movie, right? What was it? The Terminator and all this stuff. It's a movie, bro. It's a movie. Movies aren't real, obviously. Unless it's the Matrix, then that's different. But everything else, okay, besides the Matrix is exactly what it is. It's just made up stuff. So it's almost like public opinion is shaped before like mainstream rollouts. Does that make sense? When the internet first came out and a lot of people were against it, you know, when computers first started getting into the house, I'm talking about like the very first couple years, and you know, people became programmers and gamers, or they hopped into chat rooms and they spent time on a computer all day. You know, a lot of people were against that. They were saying, oh well, they're taking over our lives, and you know, people aren't being sociable anymore. It's destroying our life and all this stuff. And they're making it seem like it's worse than it actually is. You know what I mean? And then inevitably what happens? Everyone's got computers. Now we've got laptops and cell phones, and the internet is an amazing thing. And almost everybody has access to the internet. Right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like a lot of movies and stuff, and a lot of people, I guess, like, let's say the last 20, 30 years have tried to make AI look like this evil thing. And it's always like blown out of proportion when a outlier happens. Like if chat gives a certain response, like, you know, like when people put type GERNIG, you know, 20 times in a row or something. So it says the N word, right? Like a bunch of times in a row, you know, or something like that. And people try to like game the system and stuff, which shit's funny to me. But anyway, before you cancel me, people try to shape negative perception because it gets clicks and it gets views, and it all comes down to, you know, monetization and ad revenue and all that kind of stuff. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So I think AI is going to be great. It's already great. It's being integrated in everything right now, from healthcare to engineering to law firms, all types of stuff. AI is great. Yeah, Fernando, other than The Matrix. The Matrix is the only movie that's like a movie that is like real. Obviously not physically, but like the actual ideas are insane. That most people really are in a version of The Matrix. Have a good one, Scott. Anyway, can I share some of these with you now? Can I share some of these Ryan Holiday's rules for reading in 2026? Number one, it's not enough that you read. You have to read well. You have to read the right books. You have to figure out how to process and retain and, of course, apply what you read. As Epictetus said, I cannot call somebody hardworking knowing only that they read. He said he needed to know what and how they read. He needed to know that their efforts aim at improving the mind, because then and only then he would call you hardworking. Then and only then would he give you the title reader. Number two, you should always be carrying a book. Phone, wallet, keys, as Adam Sandler says, and book. If you bring one or have one loaded on your phone, you'll read it instead of using your phone. I've read at the Grammys, before surgery, on planes, beaches, in cars, lines, helicopters, at the White House, as I waited for the anesthesiologist, that's a hell of a word, before a surgery, at the DMV, backstage before talks, while waiting for a table at a restaurant, in waiting rooms, and on and on. Use every pocket of time you get. Number three, if you're not reading with a pen, you're not really reading. And if you're not finding something to note or mark up, it says something about what you're reading. Reading is a conversation. Great readers underline and make notes in the margins. They ask questions. They put the author on trial. They talk back. They put books through the ringer. Those are the first three. And those, I'm going to leave it at that. There's like 30, 31 or whatever that he's got. Those are the first three. So I think it's great. So much so that I printed off a copy for myself so I can have it. I think you should too. So if you liked those three, you can sign up for the daily stuff. I mean, you won't get it now, but I guess you'll get future email. He sends out emails like every day. Should I post it in the Discord? Do you guys think you deserve something like that? Yes or no, chat? Do you think you deserve the PDF of that? Mason said, yeah. Mason, I think you've been banned more than anybody else. But I'll think about it. I'll consider it. Cameron said post it. Maybe. Maybe. Well, anyway, I'll close with this because I really don't have much else for you. The way that price is moving, it's on the upside at least, it's so jagged. Does it make sense? It makes the low, right? Comes all the way up here, stops just prior to liquidity to go lower, short-term engineered high. I told you here, well, I don't want to see us trade to the low end of that. It goes right to the low end of that. Immediately higher to clear those highs. Great. And then it just comes right back into this range, right back into that mitigation, and just no sustained higher movement. You know what I mean? Not fun. I don't really have anything for like a Christmas. I wanted to make a playlist. I have some things I have to edit and stuff, but I think that'll be probably the last important video for this year, is like how to read the right way. So I'll say this in closing, okay? Without giving, because I literally have the whole thing right here. I ain't gonna show it to you, but I have it. Like, I have the entire outline. It's a few pages. And what I go through, I'll give you some main points, okay? If you want to get a head start, read this book. Okay, read this one. How to Read a Book. I'll put this in front of the camera. How to Read a Book by Mortimer J. Adler and Charles Van Doren. Okay, a lot of the YouTubers that are in the reading and journaling space, they rave about this one, and it is good. And he also talks about this. He says in school, they taught you the ABCs. They taught you words, and then from words into sentences, and then from sentences to paragraphs, for sure. But if I were to add to that, bro, I could talk for like a fucking hour. But when we were in school, so think like elementary, but more so middle school, and then especially high school, right? Where now you're a teenager. We did not get a choice in what we read. It was just like, oh, this is the curriculum. Like, this is the book you're supposed to read, and that's it. We were not reading for enjoyment. We weren't reading things we could choose to read. It was, you know, we didn't have a choice. And then it was the way that we read. What they wanted was for us to like know the facts, so then we could take a test on it and pass the test. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so out of obligation than oh shit, what's the word I'm looking for, chat? What's the opposite of obligation? You're like forced to do something you don't want to do. What's the opposite of that? Like the freedom to read a book because you want to read it. Like we didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us early on, we learned like a disdain for reading, especially me. I don't know about everybody else, but especially for me, I was like, this is fucking stupid. Right? But now that I would say most of us, right, are adults, we live in the real world. We're in our 20s or our 30s. Maybe some of you are a little bit older. Fine. No problem. But now that we have a choice, we can read things that we want to read. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all day traders, right? So it's like, okay, well, now I can read books on day trading. I can read books on psychology. I could read books on risk management or, you know, stuff like that. That will actually help you in the real world. So it makes it easier to pay attention and to focus when you know it's something that you want to read and you know that there is real value behind it. Does that make sense? So I think what happens is we don't know how to read well because we were never taught how to read well. Kierkegaard is a hard read. Anything, bro, I've bought like 5-6 books from Kierkegaard. It is impossible. Literally, it is impossible for me to understand Kierkegaard. I don't get it. The Sermon on the Mount one, or like the Roses or something, like, bro, it's way beyond me. It's not plain language, bro. I can't do it. Animal Farm. Didn't realize it back then how much of a gem it is. Yeah. I never read it, Animal Farm. In school. I have it, but I never read it. I only got it because I read 1984. But this brings me back to my point is we were either too young and immature to understand what we were reading, or like me, we just didn't give a fuck, right? Because it was all stupid anyway. But we never learned how to read well. We never learned how to take notes. We never learned how to engage with the content. We never learned how to extract information, think deeply about that information and reflect, and then go and apply that information in life. We never learned that. You see what I'm saying? So I look around and most adults just don't read. And if I can put my tinfoil hat on for a minute, if you go to, let's say, Barnes and Noble or some shit, you go to like these mainstream bookstores or even stuff like Amazon, even then, a lot of the mainstream books are like trash. It's all like smut and like sex fantasies and all this weird shit. You know, like, I didn't want to get started on this, bro. Like, some of that stuff is about books. Like there's a married couple, right? And then like some guy murders the husband and then sleeps with the wife, and you know, like that's her fantasy, right? Like it's fucking garbage, bro. Like the stuff that is put out is so trash. I don't see any value in that stuff. I really don't. Like there's no value to that to me whatsoever. And I personally think it's just another mechanism to prevent people from getting to the good books. You know what I'm saying? Like at every turn, there's always something. We didn't learn how to read in school. We didn't learn how to read well. And then even the people that do make it into like, oh, I should be a reader, they get into reading, and then there's so many genres that are distracting from the good shit. There's like a battle at every turn, dude. And like that's kind of my point. Oh, I want to get into these books. Like, oh, I'm a great reader, and then you read like a bunch of bullshit. You're not a well-rounded reader at all. You don't read philosophy or history or biographies or self-help or none of that stuff. Like, you're not well-rounded at all. You know? People have told me about The Alchemist. I've never read it. I've never read it. But what I can tell you, I'll say this. Sorry, I know I have so many last things. Most books that I were told about in like the MLM industry are bullshit. Okay, like I'll give you two examples. The Secret, no. Like the Law of Attraction, bro, pseudoscience. Pseudoscience. It's fucking garbage. It's trash, and it is I'm gonna say damn near demonic. Okay, it is garbage. It's bullshit. It's totally wrong, and it's worthless, and it's dangerous. You're looking for things, and things are looking for you. Dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. Dumbest shit I ever heard. Makes no fucking sense. And you know why it's pseudoscience? Because it's, just look up what pseudoscience is. Okay? Go on Wikipedia or go on ChatGPT or go on Google and look up, define pseudoscience. There's videos on YouTube like that too. The law of attraction is bullshit. It explains all the reasons why. It's bullshit. So, other things like that, you know, whenever you get into like this sort of spirituality blend of like personal development and spirituality, that's where things like get bad, because a lot of that stuff is pseudoscience. I don't know if The Alchemist is that way. I haven't read it. Okay. A lot of like Kevin Trudeau, I haven't read him. I think I've heard a couple good quotes and ideas, but I have no interest. Was it Kevin Trudeau, or am I thinking of another person? It wasn't Kevin Trudeau. Nah, who's the other dude? Shit, I can't think of the name. No, it's not Kevin Trudeau. He's fine, I think. There was another dude that, fuck, dude, I can't think of it. Because I haven't, yeah, thank you, Mason. I know I've ranted about him before. Joe Dispenza. Yeah, I'm not ever reading any fucking thing by Joe Dispenza. Breaking the habit of being yourself, becoming supernatural. I think those are like the main two. I think the biggest one is becoming supernatural. I don't know, man. I just, if there's any evidence of pseudoscience, yeah, Bob Proctor, same thing. Bob Proctor, again, there's some good quotes from Bob Proctor, and a lot of people respect him. Rest in peace. But I tried. I just couldn't get into his stuff. I just couldn't do it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that atoms and molecules and wavelengths and shit are fake. Obviously, science has proven that all that stuff is real. But what I'm saying is, at a certain point, again, look up pseudoscience. Okay? You have the scientific method, like you have proof of stuff. And then you have things that really can't be proven or disproven. So if your foundation, right, if your belief is in something that like can't be proven true or not true, that's not a solid ground. That's not a solid foundation at all. That's a house on sand, not a house on rock. You know what I'm saying? So I just couldn't get into that sort of stuff. Whereas John Maxwell, Ryan Holiday, despite the liberal shit he tosses in his books, Robert Greene, the Stoics, the Bible, the things that I like are practical. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not bullshit. Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Things that I can actually do. Right? Like, take a walk, clean off your desk, you know, engage with the book. Things that I can actually go, okay, that makes sense, that I can do, versus some shit like, you know, oh, think about what you want, and then what you want will come to you. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that? You know, or like, let's say play a YouTube video that has like 1100 hertz music or some shit. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? What does that do, bro? I look, again, this is just me, all right? If you like that kind of stuff, go for it. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? It's just not for me. That's all I'm saying. Robin Sharma. Is he the one that did the Four Agreements? Or that was Paul Ruiz or something, right? Robin Sharma. Which one did he do? Oh, the 5 a.m. Club. I haven't read that one. The Greatness Guide. Yeah, I haven't read that one. I don't. I could have sworn I read something from him. Oh, that's right. Okay. He's the one that did The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That's okay. I was tripping out for a minute. That's a good one. That is and there's some like sprinkles of Stoic philosophy in there too. That's a good one. Yes. I can't say anything about any of his other books. But The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari is a wonderful read. Young shepherd facing hardship, chasing a dream, but I completely agree with you what you're saying. Definitely staying away from those books. If it's not practical, if it's not something that I can get something out of, then it's a waste of time for me. I don't like, and this goes for like church too, I don't like the whole motivational, feel good, prosperity gospel, which is trash as well. It's not a full picture. You know what I mean? Like, that's not it. It's not it, bro. You're not supposed, and Epictetus was right in this thing too. Epictetus was like, bro, philosophy is like a hospital. You should not leave here feeling good. You should leave here like feeling bad because you have room for improvement. You have, you know, things that you have to work on. If you just sit here and feel good about everything, like that's a dangerous place to be. But that's what people want. You know, people like the whole Joel Osteen. I can't forget the other like false people. I can't forget. I have all their names, but Joel Osteen comes to mind. You know, people like that kind of stuff because it makes them feel good. Michael Todd, same thing. That dude's a fucking idiot. I don't even know why bro dresses like a girl. He threw like syrup on the Bible. They were like, he was making secular songs into church song. Like, bro, it is bad out here. Like, it is bad. I mean, I know I cuss. I know we're losing viewers too. I know it's Friday. You guys got shit to do. But I'm telling you, this stuff is important, man. You listen to the wrong person and it will harm you. Okay? I don't try to give you guys bad information. I don't try to give you a bad bias. Okay? I do my best to give you good information, information that is useful, things that you can apply in your trading, you know, good books to read, stuff like that. Because of people like that are damaging people. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Have some discernment and be careful. So with that, we'll shut it down here. Okay. You got a lot today. You got a lot of stuff. Yeah. So build your roadmap for 2026. Write down some goals. Write down how you're going to get them. It's not a law of attraction thing. Okay. We're not doing that. If you want to do a vision board because that's your thing, cool. But a vision board by itself, it's going to be the same vision board in 2027 and the same one in 2028 if you don't actually do something about it. Okay, I know the law of attraction probably talks about that too, but overall, that stuff is hot garbage. Most of the people that I know that are successful don't believe in that shit. So, y'all be good, be blessed. We'll be here same time, same place on Monday the 8th. Have a good weekend.
I've got eyelids heavy enough to break diamonds. You pray for sound, I'm not brave for silence. Damn right faith as I can't deny. You'll find me with half a mind to get